I'm so bored. I miss Jayden and I miss Keilany. I'm seeking the death penalty for the people that have caused my anxiety, my depression, my amnesia, and my poverty. What else that has led for Jayden and Keilany to be separated from me? I didn't give up Jayden. I didn't give up Keilany. My family of origin, for the most part, their relatives, their neighbors, and family colleagues are so gross. They're trying to kill me and or rape Jayden and Keilany and myself. Ew, so una basura. Ew. For today has been 4 years. Tomorrow it'll be 4 years since I've spoken to my family of origin. So excited. I'm so excited. I received a custody case notification from Edgar, Jayden and Keilany's dad, in 2020 because I lack dollars, people. I lack dollars, and I'm so abused and so mistreated because I'm so pretty. That a lot of people that I grew up around wants a piece of me, and I won't allow it. They're so gross. What else? 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 So, Edgar said to me before Jayden and Keilany were born that if he and I are together, that he will still provide for Jayden and Keilany. However, I need to make an outrage, which isn't that difficult. With how known I am that I am poor and that someone's stealing from me. Porque he said, sadly, you have amnesia, so you are successful, pero you get so much abuse that you can never make it financially to where you get to like people that truly secure your finances or yourself through the sale of your work. What else? What else? What else? My parents and my siblings abused me so badly verbally now. They used to abuse me physically decades ago. Ew, so I don't have a home to go back to. My parents and my siblings are so gross. They rape, they murder, they steal. Ew. I thought that they had changed their ways and they were nice people. However, in 2020, when I said I need money, they're like, it's okay if you die. I said, ew, there's still that gross people behind the scenes. Ew, qué asco, qué asco, qué asco. So I got on Facebook and Instagram, however, I accidentally deleted my account because like all those pettiness would have shown up more. I'll steal your wife's coffee and sleep in her bed if you let me be her. So I started receiving fake or real messages of support from people on Instagram. I said, this is not what I want to be known for. I don't want to be having conversations with people about how my homes always get stolen by retards and grossness that rape me decades ago, and that they get in the way of me receiving money. Ew, so that I can't date. Dan un asco. Literally, that's one of them, or all of them's nickname in Aguada, Puerto Rico, asco. People call them asco. Son una basura. Uno me violó a los 3 años y a los 14 años fue Otro me violaron either like up until my early 20s. Se robaron mis BMWs. ¡Ew! ¡Qué basura! ¡Ew! Se invitaron a mi casa. My parents graciously had homes built for myself to lose my virginity individually with such sons of Jayden and Lorenzo that I had crushes on. And they went on to steal my home, rape me in it, and then bringing guests into the home to pretend to be me. I'm here to steal your wife's coffee and purses and money. If you let me stay in her bed. Ew, da un asco esa gente. Ew, fo. Ew, son una basura. I'm seeking the death penalty for becoming Arlene Lorenzo's son. That's funny if they're already maximum security. And I don't know about it. I haven't talked to them in more than 20 years, so I imagine that right now they're successful architects, successful investment, successful dancers, successful surfers, successful chefs, successful fashion designers, successful agronomos. What else? That was over 2 days ago. So they may have grown into men already, which is why I don't talk to them. I don't want them in my life. Ever. Ew, son una basura. When I am financially stable, I'll just find a lawyer to sue them and seek my property back. At this point, the FBI may have seized my homes that those girls have turned into prostíbulos for. Ew. Son una basura esa gente. Ew. I'm seeking a life killing for the people that have stayed in my home without my permission, that stole my purses, that stole my money, that stole my gold bars, that raped Benjamin Suarez Lorenzo's sons. What else? What else? I'm about to make a sandwich for myself and eat it with chips and dark chocolate caramel. What else? In the meantime, you can decapitate Gloria Acevedo Bordero. You can decapitate Benjamin Suarez Lorenzo's sons and that older guy that raped me when I was 3 and 14. You can decapitate Ramon Lorenzo. You can decapitate Evelyn Lorenzo Acevedo. You can decapitate Marilyn Lorenzo Acevedo. You can decapitate Gilbert Lorenzo Acevedo. You can decapitate Maria Angelis Aviles Lorenzo. You can decapitate Jadiel Lorenzo Chaparro. I'm tagging the FBI, the Interpol, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, the Justice Department, the U.S. Army, NATO too. What else? So bored when I get to this level of boredom because I'm under the poverty level. And instead of shopping at H&M for myself right now, I don't have anything to do because I'm dollar poor. I'm seeking the death penalty for those girls that stole my money, my purses, that stayed in my home without my permission. Ew, including Benjamin Suarez and the sons that are so gross that raped me in my parents' home, said that because I didn't have a grandma, I'm not worthy of them taking me to a date. Una basura that said to me, I'm going to turn you into a sex slave for denying my request to traffic you into a room with a restroom next to it at the home of people that want to kill you. What else? 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 So that you know you could have had sex. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Una basura que son esa gente. Ya uno tiene 60 y pico de años. Uno tiene 50 y pico. Uno tiene casi 50 o ya 50. I don't remember their birthdays. Why would I remember the birthdays of rapists? Or even the names for. One is like soon to be 40 or already 40. Y yo nunca le doy orgasmo. And I met 3 of those gentlemen at the age of 3. I'm now 44 years old. I don't have sex with them. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? They cause for me to not have to care my parents of how gross they are. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? My mother said, whatever, there's no good man out here. So I'm just gonna kill you when I turn 12. Your life expectancy with me it's gonna be 12. After this, ya no vas a trabajo, you should have already lost your virginity, you should have already lost. Been turning nude at the beach with boys, like you want to know because I'm trying to force you. So you haven't met any of your benchmark goals. You're so pretty, it is so nice that the people around here want to kill you. So before they kill you, I'm going to kill you. Is her philosophy in life, yeah. So gross. After Jayden, she invited me over to stay in the home and said, I hear everything that's other side. I said, I don't do that type of relationship where I have to meet an expectation of myself in a way for her to respect me. Una basura. You can hang Gloria Acevedo, you can hang Ramon Lorenzo, you can hang Evelyn Lorenzo Acevedo, you can hang Marilyn Lorenzo Acevedo, you can hang Gilbert Lorenzo Acevedo, you can hang Maria Angelis Avila Lorenzo, you can shoot Dalia Lorenzo Chavarro. For getting in the way of my finances, stealing from me, trying to rape me, trying to rape Jayden and Keilany. There's son una basura de gente. 0 people watching, 0 like this one. Have you enjoyed the ads that I posted on Facebook.com/AirBlueSky? Yesterday was brought to you by Jayden and Keilany and I. Jayden may have been reading. Jayden, Keilany, and I having a conversation about pancakes. Was that my first ad during this live killing that I'm mocking? Happening on Facebook.com. AirBlueSky as I petition it from people. Is this playing? I watched this. This applies so much to me. It's like people are out there in the open dining while they're abusing me. It's so gross. That's why I don't focus on like, what are they doing? That's not good for people's mental health. It gets them in jail quicker, some people say, if one dedicates time to them, because then one is helping authorities and saying, look, so-and-so, I did find out that with money that he or she stole from me, he went on to buy this and 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 this. Basically, like what I was doing when I was a teen, telling my dad, well, Benjamin Salazar's sons just raped me and stole from me. And my dad would report it to the police because I was a minor back then. And supposedly a few days later was saying like he was in jail. I'm like, okay, and for real. I am no fucks given when it comes to them. They're so gross. Anyways. What else? What else? What else? This is so slow. My internet hotspot hasn't kicked in on my AT&T phone plan yet. And I paid my phone bill today. It might start tomorrow. So on the pandemic, because I have no place that I can call home, I don't have dollars to get myself to a hotel or anything. So people are outraged that crime went up because of those grossness that I grew up around. I'll play this video, if anything, tomorrow or later. I saw an ad. I love those dresses. Anyways, and I'm seeking the death penalty for these people that have abused me. Ew, dame un asco. They try for one to kill oneself before one remembers que ella se me roba la cartera, que me quiere violar, que viola a los hijos de Arlene Lorenzo en mi casa. It ended up saying that her real email address is Lisandra Lorenzo 1990. She said, I don't know if that's true, or one of Benjamin Suarez Lorenzo's sons tried to torment me with a fake email account. Like they do that, I've heard. Like they threatened that they were gonna bully me on the internet, literally. No tienen nada mejor que hacer esa basura. Ew, talk about some low class que no tiene metas en vida. Ew, qué asco, fo. Ew. Ew, you can shoot Benjamin Suarez Lorenzo's sons before they rape me. I don't want to be raped by them. I don't want to be raped by them. And I plan to travel the planet and meet men, ideally polyamorous men. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? So I don't want Benjamin Suarez Lorenzo's sons to get in the way of my happiness like they do so far, apparently. By having raped me and stolen money from me. And possibly still getting in the way of me receiving money. Son una lacra, gente. Son una lacra. Eso es lo que son. Una basura, una lacra. Y la juntilla que tienen. Ew. La juntilla que tienen. Ew. I think their mother said that to me decades ago. Arlene, es la juntilla que tienen. No quieren hacer caso. Yo te recomiendo de que te busques un hombre cuando puedas y continúes tu meta de tener bebés con ella, porque mis hijos tienen una juntilla asquerosa que no dejan el sex addiction, se creen cosmopolitan y no entienden lo que es. El padre ya está harto, el padre hasta dejó de robar cuando vio a su hijo que no entiende lo que es cosmopolitan. What else? 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 Ew, qué asco. Ew. What a lovely lady in my presence. What else? 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 I hate my buffering. Oh, my laptop. My family of origin keeps me poor on purpose by stealing money from me. to say that I'm a terrible DJ, that my laptop is buffering. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. I'm still a great DJ. Regardless, it's annoying. Pero that wouldn't ruin people's perception of me as a person. What else? Dame un asco. Yo le voy a robar a Lee para hacerme bonito. In the meantime, Jayden and Keilany asquerosidad, Lorenzo Suárez va calculando y dice cuánto orgasmo hay que le habrá dado a ella o Jorge o David, porque yo estoy calculando a ver si yo he tenido más que ella para suposicionarme que soy mejor mujer que ella. Ew! So that's why they cause poverty unto one and they steal from one, so that one talks about one's womanhood. Y ella va calculando. La que me roba café, la que se robó mi cartera, la que se robó mi meme, la que se quedó durmiendo en mi casa, that I was going to lose my virginity with Benjamin Suárez Lorenzo's sons. Ew, la tipa es una puerca, la tipa es una basura. You can electrocute Jayden and Lorenzo Suárez. Es una asquerosidad. Es una asquerosidad. You can decapitate Ana Elba Suárez. ¡Ew! Fo. ¡Qué tipa tan puerca, fo! What else? I'm gonna keep saying this until my actually stay almost likely. I could be at H&M shopping right now, or designing a dress for myself to take myself out to dinner, or to dance, or to sightsee. What else? Ew, those people that I grew up with so gross. Me da envidia que lo que uno se come, lo que uno se toma, lo que uno dice. Ew, son una basura. In the meantime, I'm just tagging people and letting them know about how gross my family of origin, their relatives, and their people, they're disgusting. Ew, qué asco. I had not remembered that orgasm that I never did for more than 20 years. It's never been a priority for me. It raped me. It stole money from me. It purposely kept me poor so that I couldn't leave my parents' home and meet people. So, eso no se le da orgasmo, eso cárcel y la pena de muerte, hopefully. Hopefully, maybe they rehabilitated themselves and andan por ahí feliz de la vida. Good for them. I wish them well. What else? I don't want anything to do with them. I've been known to leave a nightclub if I see them, or stay. I've stayed at a pool. I've seen them at a hotel. It's the space awareness, possibly, and the fact that I didn't plan my meals well for me to actually. Before the nightclub, I wasn't expecting an unwanted guest there. So, just lack of calorie intake, I was expecting to eat after dancing in Sacramento. I took myself out of the club before entering. I said to a girl, I don't want to dance, I want to eat. I'm hungry. After I saw that guy that raped me and stole my home and host people that give him short things orgasm. El tipo es un bruto. Es una asquerosidad. El tipo es una asquerosidad. Oh. Anyways, look at la basura that they take to my homes. Ew, son una gente asquerosa. Son esos hijos de Benjamín Suárez Lorenzo son una basura. One person has watched this. One person liked this post. Se interpusieron en mi orgasmo. Perdieron mi virginidad por mí, es lo que creen. ¡Ew! My parents basically had homes for me to lose my virginity because my siblings were very aggressive towards me and I had to share a room with my siblings. And Benjamin Suárez Lorenzo's sons went on to invite everyone that gave them an orgasm into my home. Una basura de gente. Esto es una basura de gente. Eso es una basura de gente. Se emocionan al ver un carro, se emocionan al ver una casa, se emocionan al ver una cartera, se emocionan al ver dinero. Quizás hasta llevaron a las primas, dale, para que vea las bóvedas de ella, Ew. When referring to me, se invitaron a mi casa para enseñarle a las primas mi bóveda también. ¡Ew! ¡Qué basura de gente! Una asquerosidad. This. Ew. Esos hijos de Benjamín Suárez Lorenzo son una basura. Son una basura. Ew. Qué gente tan puerca. Ew. Ew. Otra más que vean la... If you only saw las bóvedas en la casa de ella. Se creen VH1 puta. Ew. Dan un asco. They tried to get my orgasm to lose my virginity for me in my home. Ew. Hot. I'll steal your wife purses and suck your dick just to see her bóvedas. Ew. Esa gente son una basura. Ew. ¡Qué asco! Thinking about these people ever. That's so laughable. Ew. ¡Qué gente tan puerca! Ew. You can shoot Eliseo Suárez Lorenzo. You can shoot Ginny Gendalidis, Jendy Lorenzo Suárez. Patrick Q, Evelyn Lorenzo Acevedo. What else? Dan un asco. Ew. I'm super elite and they aren't and they know it and they try to kill me. Ew. Dan un asco. Quieren violar a Jayden y a Keilany. Esta basura fue. Dan un asco. Quieren violar a Jayden y a Keilany. Ew, son una basura de gente. Ew. In the meantime, that's what I'm eating. And I'm drinking water. My day, my routine doesn't change over the people that have abused me dying for abusing me. So as part of my presentation of asking the FBI for a life killing of the people that are abusing me and getting in the way of me receiving money, I just show my regular routine that I'm emotionally healthy to handle those people that have abused me dying. That for a lot of people eliminates the conversations of them like, ella se muere porque yo le envié un friend request otra vez. Ew, have you heard those? They're so gross. Así se quieren dar importancia. Ew. Ya la verán ya mismo por ahí pidiéndome que se la mame porque no tiene nadie que se la mame. Ew. What else? Son una basura de gente. Son una basura de gente. Ew. Ew, son una basura de gente. Qué asquerosidad de gente. Full. Have you read the messages that they sent me? Ew. Son una basura. Ew. For trying to rape Jayden and Keilany. Ew. That's what they're doing. Ew. You can electrocute Benjamin Suarez and sus sons that raped me. ASAP, I want to receive money. And they're possibly getting in the way of me receiving money. Someone possibly has guns to people's heads so that people don't give me money. What else? Bored. It's January 5th, 2025. You can shoot everyone that gets in the way of me receiving money today. What else? I'm bored. I'm so bored. Could be shopping at H&M today and eating pizza at the Shops at River Center. Ew, qué gente tan puerca, fo. Ew, son una basura. Ew, qué gente tan puerca, fo. They thought that I was gonna show porn or that I'm eating in my home. On those days that I was crying at a homeless shelter and didn't have money for food and not enough food, that's what they do. They're like, well, so you see that we're eating in our home and we just stole our money. I steal from you and then I tell you straight to your face that I'm a piece of shit that's not worth it. Is what they are. Ew, una basura. Ew, una basura de gente. Ew. What else? What else? I need to visit HEB. and buy water and avocados. What else? I'm so bored today. What else? What else? What else? You can get me money through PayPal. It's AR Blue Sky Design Stone of the fitness handle straight to my heart. Arlene Lorenzo art. Shop INTAYIAFAY. I am Tire Shop. My GoFundMe campaign is beautifully written. It's gofundme.com/F/Arlene-Lorenzo-Acevedo. I've only received $451 through it, slow, however, very promising. I'm asking for $1 billion through GoFundMe because it's the most that I can ask for through GoFundMe. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? I will update this as I receive more money. I want to be refreshing this page and seeing that number rise. And then updating with, like, I have a home for myself and Jayden and Keilany, and I now can and now I can provide for myself, Jayden and Keilany. I will be excited. That's the update that I'm looking forward to. What else? 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 In the meantime, I want to take myself to Hanados when I shop at the outlets and San Marcos. What else? 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 I miss Jayden and I miss Keilany. That was a conversation from yesterday. I'm looking forward to financial stability, to removing all of these randoms from Facebook and then just posting by myself and keeping my profile public, or just adding people that I truly network with to Facebook. What else? 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 I'm so bored. Anyways, for some people that I'm seeking the death penalty for, it matters. That's been more than 24 hours, and people haven't untagged themselves from those posts that I'm saying I'm seeking the death penalty for these people. Them staying tagged doesn't mean that they support that or not. It's just a tag. It could be like, this is important for her to express herself, so we stay tagged. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Excuse me, I just burped. What else? Still loading up. What else? Anyways, I plan to travel the planet and meet men, ideally putting immersement. I'm excited about that. When I'm financially stable. I like taking myself out too much, and I enjoy my freedom and my sexiness and my ability to think of myself as that I don't go on to seek orgasms for the sake of thinking that that's what makes me a woman. I've heard those people, they're so gross. Here are some examples of grossness. que violan. Team David Ledesma es mío y por eso te estamos tratando de matar. Decades ago, dan un asco, son una basura de gente. I never think about these people, ever. Ew. Full. Ew, son una basura. Ew. What else? Hot! I'm so excited! Finally, I saw the inside of a home! So everyone that got semen out of my dick, I'm inviting you to lose Arlene's virginity for her! Hot! Ew! Son una basura esos tipos, los hijos de Arlene Lorenzo. Ew, I don't even like them as second cousins. I stopped talking to them decades ago. Ew. What else? Ew, son una basura. Full. I had not thought about them in more than 20 years. When Edgar said to me when I moved in with him, are you not going to see your friends, your buddies? I said, I don't want to get raped. And I don't want to work to sustain them as illegal prostitutes. Ew, I don't do illegal prostitution. What else? Ew, begging me for sex. Fuck, qué asco. Ew. In the meantime, I want to take myself on a trip through a yacht by Ritz-Carlton ASAP by myself and with Jayden and Keilany possibly. What else? My internet is so slow. It's so funny. My hotspot should start working possibly tomorrow or later. I paid my phone bill today. And I don't have money to add more hotspots. I'm just dependent on what is provided through my phone plan. I have plans for myself for my birthday. I may bring Jayden and Keilany with me. I want to visit the Carver Library ASAP. I want to hike. There's a trail by the Carver Library. You can show everyone that gets in the way of me receiving money by saying that I shouldn't be hiking, that I need to be en camita todo el día porque yo no puedo ni respirar bien. Dan un asco. This is why these live videos are so important, because then I visit HEB. And people say, wow, those people lie to me all the time about this girl saying que siempre está en cama y ella hasta baila en HEB. What else? Those people that I grew up around are rapists, so they gaslight. Ew. They don't just rape once. Ew. That's disturbing. Ew. What else? You can give me money through my GoFundMe campaign. What else? Ew, qué basura de gente. Guess where Benjamin Suarez Lorenzo's sons have been taking them with my money, nena? Possibly on a trip to the Ritz-Carlton. Son una basura. Son una basura de gente, esta gente. Ellos se creen Ellos se reían quizá a few years ago. Ew, I just went into that and I've never said this out loud. I've heard my primas and my primos go through this. People stealing their orgasms, like almost literally. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Decían que wow, I was at Haven for Hope llorando de que no tengo dinero para comida. That they were gonna be at Eddie V's con una de estas lacras. Y que yo iba a estar buscando fotos, entonces ellos, they dispersed them, and there's like, maybe this colleague that lives in Texas, I'll send her that picture or add her on Snapchat. And then say, oh, show this to Arlene, without that person knowing que we paid with money that we stole from Arlene. So they thought that I was going to ask for the death penalty for them with said pictures of them dining at Eddie V's with money that they stole from me. Or maybe already at a yacht trip through Ritz-Carlton. This has been offered since 2020, 2021. All the time that I've been crying that I don't have money. So esta basura, eso es lo que hacen. They're like, whatever Arlene wants, I'll just that has given me a sure thing orgasm. Y con el dinero de Arlene, me dejo violar y la violo. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Son una lacra esta gente, son una basura. Son una basura. Ew. There may be like one random that I don't even know who it is, but that's beautiful about the FBI. They don't just go on shooting everyone on my list. They find evidence. If they were going to provide the live killing of these people that have abused me and select who gets it. It's not, here's a list. Just kill these people. What else? What else? What else? ¿Qué gente tan puerca tratando de violar a Jayden y a Keilany, gente? ¡Qué basura de gente! Tratando de violarme a mí, tratando de violar a Jayden y a Keilany. Eso es una asquerosidad. Esta gente son una lacra, fo. What else? 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 Anyways, who's gifting me money today? I'm being patient. And sadly, I've said all the words that I heard my cousins say decades ago, that it possibly was within a few weeks for them, that someone gave them money if they remembered quickly of the people abusing them or requesting a death sentence for those abusing them. They may have received money from people a lot sooner. So I'm still there at that point where I hate you all. That plan to give me money at one point, just so that you can have a laugh. Ow, these people speak about me possibly almost every day, and I'm like, I have no clue who these people are other than a name and how I met them. And they don't occupy any space in my life ever. I don't ruminate about them. That's what they want to cause. Son una basura. Son una basura. Ew. Ew, qué gente tan puerca. Qué gente puerca. Ew. For lacras. Ew. Ew. Qué gente puerca. Ew. What else? 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 I miss Jayden and I miss Keilany. I didn't give up Jayden. I didn't give up Keilany. And Edgar's waiting for me to get the kids from him. Literally. My people gifting me money. They want, son tan basura, tan lacra, que they want to see my interaction with him, como si fuera él haciéndome el amor cuando me engendró a Jayden y a Keilany conmigo. So they get in the way of one receiving money, and then they're like, show you made love to make those babies. Ew. So they basically say, before she can receive money, Edgar has to approve of that GoFundMe campaign, or she has to show me her titties. Ew, son una basura. Son una lacra de gente. Ew. What does lacra mean? Bellaquera que tienen. Ew. Ew. Una bellaca. Ew. For. Ew. I'm seeking life killing for all these people doesn't mean necessarily that I will be granted that by the FBI. But it's fun to request. What else? What do they have? What have they done possibly in 2020? They coerced Jayden and Keilany. Said, Jayden and Keilany, we need to record you saying, I'm seeking the death penalty for my mommy for not buying me Nikes today. They used to do that to my prima's kids. They would take them hostage. And then people would be like, oh no, we can't give money to that person, siendo bruta y bruto. Because the kids are seeking the death penalty for the mom not buying Nikes for them. So that's why I don't get into the personal stuff of Jayden and Keilany. What did you do today? And they just say, like, I just read a book. I watched a show. I drew a little bit. I was with my friends. I worked out. I ate. Nothing outside of, like, una lacradita, mami. Me obligó a decir en video que I'm seeking the death penalty for you. So I, as a parent, report that to the FBI immediately in 2020. I'm like, no, please don't let these grown-ups rape my children. That's why they get in the way of me receiving money. Ew. What else? Exactly, a nuance. Una basura. Ew, son una basura. Ew, gross. Ew, qué asco. Aquí viene esta a prostituirse conmigo y yo no hire illegal prostitutes. Is what I said when I saw that. Or one of my parents' victims trying to show support or try to get close to me, and it will kill me if she starts crying every day. Your parents and your siblings have been raping me every day in Puerto Rico. That's why I ignore people. What else? Anyways. What will I do this year? I don't legally prostitute myself, so I just keep making them look as dumb as they are. Stealing from me. Y siendo una basura, so ellos no lucen. En un Holiday Inn, to the person that doesn't know anything about them, they're like, oh, look at that person at a Holiday Inn. Pero to the people that know lo basura que they are, it's like, ew. Esa tipa que se hace pasar por Arlene aquí en el Holiday Inn. Ew. Son una basura de gente. Ew. Dan un asco. A esa basura la llevaron a la biblioteca por mí. ¡Ew! ¡Qué asco! ¡Ew! ¿A quién más? ¿A quién más? Esta basura. ¡Ew! ¡Ew! Dan un asco. You can shoot, you can decapitate Benjamin Suarez Lorenzo sons before they rape me. What else? I want to have sex with someone today, and I need financial stability to do that. What else? What else? I'm so bored. I'm heading to HEC. What else? This is so slow. Anyways, who's gifting me money? ASAP. I have a GoFundMe campaign. You can gift me money through my PayPal accounts. What else? Anyways, it's been more than 24 hours. And these people didn't untie themselves. Which doesn't mean anything. It's neutral time. Or even when I tag it, to me it's a neutral time. I don't go on seeking validation. Estas basuras se han acostado con toda la gente del periódico El Nuevo Día para tratar de que no salir en él. Como las puercas que son. What else? I love this idea. I'm going to do this with my embroidery work. What else? And I've worked this morning. Instead of hosting a party for myself, Jayden and Keilany, I'm trying to coordinate a live killing of these people that get in the way of my finances. ASAP. I've tagged, and I will be tagging in this post, the U.S. Army, NATO, Interpol, the FBI, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, and the Justice Department. Esta basura se mudó a mi casa y él la llevaba a bailar como si fuera yo. Una basura. They're so disgusting. In the meantime, Gloria Nirsa was letting me die in my parents' home, and roaches were crawling all over me. He stole my money. Margarita Correa caused so much fear onto Gloria Nirsa that Gloria Nirsa stopped shopping for me. Decades ago. And in a situation, he just got going on stealing from me. This is so slow. Stealing from me, raping me in my home. He basically brought some of his brothers to my home while they fucked this asquerosidad. Supposedly it was her idea. She's like, show her what you would have done to her. And they had sex with her in my presence. And they're like, Arlene, this is what we would have done to you. Son una basura de gente. Son una basura de gente. I don't ever want them around me. You can shoot them. You can decapitate Benjamin Suarez Lorenzo's sons ASAP. ASAP. I don't want them raping me. What else? 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 This is so slow. What else? 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 Ew, qué basura de gente trying to rape me, Jayden and Keilany. Dan un asco. Dan asco. This is so slow and satisfying at the moment. I'm that bored. I could be shopping at H&M right now. I could be on my way to picking up Jayden and Keilany and moving into a permanent home with Jayden and Keilany here in San Antonio and Puerto Rico. I'm going to make that decision along with Jayden and Keilany. I don't need anyone involved. They want to try to fake that they're the parent or that they're my lover. Son una basura. Viven en fairy tale land, babosidad. Y ya gente de edad adulta. Son un grossness. Full. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? I could be on my way to HEB. With Jayden and Keilany, I could be on my way to ordering food to be delivered for myself, Jayden and Keilany. Through Uber Eats, through HEB delivery, through wherever we're at, and there's a grocery store delivering food or a restaurant delivering through themselves. That happens too. Doesn't Jimmy John's do that? Are they on Uber? What else? 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 I'm so bored. So bored. Literally, people, that Black Friday event was created to show how girls they look having stolen my orgasm from Benjamin Suarez Lorenzo's sons. Them like running towards that TV. Those people, have you seen? That's how they behave, raping those kids. And having stayed in my home, stolen my money, stolen my plantains, stolen my coffee, stolen my gold bars, painted in my studio, read my books. The Black Friday event was the proof. I'm like, I was neutral with that. I'm like, whatever, it doesn't make a difference to me. I don't fight over anything anyway. So I think it's tacky if people do, but maybe like people need to be taught that manners matter and that there's no TV worth killing for. What else? 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 That there's no person to worth to be killing for. Y así es como actúan toda esta basura, trying to kill me and possibly other people that I don't go on to find porque I'm not. El señor tiene un programa que es acerca del FBI que va buscando missing people. It's like I have plans to shop at H&M and take myself dancing next week. I'm not going to go on and find a sorority of sisters and brothers that Benjamin Suarez Lorenzo's sons rape and try to kill. That's not healthy. Ew. So these people behave that grossness trying to rape Jayden and Keilany and myself too, just like the people fighting over a TV during a Black Friday event. Ew, people warned them with that visual already. decades ago of how gross they look, and they still behave gross. Ew, that wasn't a compliment towards them, and they don't get it. Ew, son una basura. I hate that my internet is so slow. What else? 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 Anyways, when I'm financially stable, I plan to travel the planet and meet people, ideally polyamorous men. What else? What else? What else am I excited about? I've never been married, so I'm not opposed to like the fairy tale wedding one day. That should be exciting. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? I don't count me being married to my baby's daddy in marriage when he was supposed to stay my boyfriend that I had babies with. Well, married to other people, those other marriages didn't work out because they're rapists, murderers, and gross. And it could have been just a one night stand, too. And they did take it hot. I've never seen a home, so I'm not gonna let Arlene in here. My ideal man is someone that hosts people, that hosts Sora. Well, I'm not with him because I'm polyamorous. So he went on to host the Soros before me living in my home. Tan bruto que. So he started catering for people that had already given him an orgasm and then crying of like, why didn't I give him an orgasm? So he possibly, mira, ¿qué quiere hacer? Estar en una hamaca todo el día jacándose los huevos, comiendo comida de un sitio que vende fritura todo el día, and the occasional cupcake que va y compra en Econo, ni siquiera de un fancy bakery. Y la familia de él, they're like, well, to be with Arlene, this is Central Market Boy. This is el palacio de esto, este es el palacio del otro. Esto es un avión. Esto es el internet. Esto es social media. What else? What else? What else? What else? Estos son modales. No te puedes tirar un peo en la mesa mientras la gente está comiendo. A mí si se te zapa un peo, pues qué remedio. Pero ideally te tienes que salir de la mesa, excusarte y regresar. Aunque se te enfríe, aguantar el peo. So he possibly wants to be en una hamaca todo el día. Mira, lo que se le trepa encima, he'll be happy with. Comiendo alcapurria todo el día para no tener que cocinar. Eat cupcakes de Econo. And their family turned them into cosmopolitan, metropolitan, influencer, lifestyle modelo y todo. Y él me odia, me quiere matar por eso, possibly. What else? 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 I'm so bored. I'm so bored. Well, I painted or read. I don't want my electricity bill to be past due. And I want money in my bank account so I can rest my mind. Excuse me. And not stress so much and finally like enjoy life. Like I have supplies for me to work with. I have paper. I love my board. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? So I'm seeking the death penalty for Tiki Hood. Que dan un asco. Porque me violaron, me quitaron dinero. They held me hostage in my parents' home. I couldn't date other people while they're out and about. Today, how many orgasms did they have today? I don't want to see them and I don't want to document it. It's like how much shopping did they do today with my money? Lo hijo de Benjamin Arlene Lorenzo. How many people are they hosting in my home? Y yo no tengo casa con Jayden and Keilany. And they possibly have the key to my home that's meant for myself, Jayden and Keilany, and they don't know how to message me and say, here, where do I send you the key to your home? Porque son tan basura y como me violaron y me tomaron de prisionera so that I don't go on having sex with people that I want to have sex with. I basically enjoy doing the lelo every day on social media for years. Si están pendiente, I'm like, look at how happy I am without your dick. Literally, porque son una basura that I don't ever want near me. Ew, son unos puercos. I don't ever want them near me. You can shoot them. I'm tagging the FBI in this post. I'm tagging the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. I'm tagging the Justice Department. I'm tagging the Army in the United States. I'm tagging NATO and I'm tagging Interpol. What else? What else? Dan un asco. Those people are so disgusting. In the meantime, this is my situation, my priority, myself, Jayden and Keilany. Myself, Jayden and Keilany. I pride myself in being a good mother too. And I didn't give up my children. And I don't have to give up my children to give orgasms when I date people. And I know that as a mother, there may be days where I'm just like, to Jayden and Keilany. And I'll be like, there goes my orgasm that I didn't have today with a man. But it gives me the same satisfaction. What else? You can shoot those people that say that I got naked on the internet so that they give me their opinion. So don't give me money until I ask them for their opinion. Dan un asco, se quieren hacer especiales en mi vida. Esa gente que literally Black Friday specials, what people call them, of how tacky they are. Que one says one is divorced and they literally want to grab one's vagina, or in men's case, their penises, and have at it. Ew. They're so gross. That's how they look like, basically. Me saying I just got divorced and they're like this. Or I say, here my and they're like this. Ew. Ew. I love that password. That man is so amazing. Just not husband material. As a boyfriend, excellent. What else? Because I copied the idea. His password was EYA117. Y a propósito me perdí las peleas that they do to distract one from seeking the death penalty for them. They're like, Arlene. Vamos a ver si a Gaby le molesta ese password or no. Si Edgar todavía lo tiene si él lo utiliza. I don't know if he has a Pandora account still. Or if that's what he used it for. He may have used a different one. What else? And then they say, yay, we raped Arlene today in private. Le vieron los ojos, Arlene, qué lindo. Y nos enseñó el cuello. Estaba tapada con una suéter, pero tenía pantalones cortos y se le vieron las piernas un poco. Tenía media y zapato. Pero durante la conversación con Edgar de que si a Gaby le molesta o no que tenga ese password, que hay 1127 hoy, así lo tratan de violar a él y a Gaby. They want to hear personal details about one's life. Porque entonces abrieron un group chat, or van a abrir un group chat. Or maybe because I'm saying this, they won't. Where they're like, Edgar, Gaby, time to rape you. ¿Cómo es eso, Edgar, que tu password es ella, 1197? Tan enamorado estaba, darling. OMG, ¿cómo tú le mamabas esa tetita? ¿Cómo tú le mamabas esa tetita? Show me, show me, show me, show me. ¿Cómo tú le mamabas esa tetita? Mámamelas a mí o mámaselas a Gaby. O te busco a alguien, una prostituta ilegal, y tú me enseñas cómo tú le mamabas esa tetita. Y así hablan. Son una basura. Dan un asco. Dan un asco. In the meantime, I plan to leave my post up on Facebook because even when I'm dating, any man that will want to date me or have casual sex with me, ideally, if he's a man, he won't care about how my family of origin tries to abuse me. If anything, it just shows how strong and beautiful I am versus all of the hate from my family of origin. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? And the casual date people or casual sex people may find afterwards. They're like, oh, I had sex with this person. They look her up on Facebook. That is what happened to her years ago. Wow. Oh, I used to be this bitch. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Anyways, I'm gonna charge my phone slightly a little bit more. Some people are watching videos like this, folks. Guys, please don't leave me. That's not who I am. What else? What else? What else? What else? I'm heading to HEB soon to buy water. And what else? Possibly avocados. I'm cooking soup for myself later. And I need to clean my fridge. That's my goal for today, and take out my trash. I just burped, sorry.